Hi everybody, I'm Byron. Today I'm going to be talking about Thrawn Alliances. It's a pretty good book. It's one of the better Star Wars books I've read in a while. It's not one of the ones tied into a movie, which they tend to be the better ones, the ones that aren't tied into the movies. I'm trying to think. Yeah, can't really think of one that was tied to a movie that I really... Dark Disciple is probably my favorite one of the new canon, and that was based on the Clone Wars, so it's not completely standalone. And I when I was reading that one, I just kept thinking about how I wished these episodes got made. And when they released they talked about the making new episodes of the Clone Wars. What it looks like now is that they're just finishing the story reels, the ones they had half finished, and they're doing the final arc, the Siege of Mandalore. Those are the 12 episodes they're doing. And I can see how obviously from a cost perspective, why wouldn't you just go in and finish the ones that are half done? But I would much rather have this Dark Disciple ones get made into episodes, because it just looked awesome. But anyway, back to the book I'm actually reviewing, Thrawn Alliances. I would say it was better than Thrawn, the original Thrawn book, and even better than most of Thrawn in the Clone Wars. What it mostly has is Thrawn, the detective, the small-time detective. It doesn't have Thrawn, the big-time general, which is what I like. I like Thrawn, the big-time general. And we really haven't seen that apart from the Season 3 finale and the Season 4 finale of Rebels. None of the books, none of the other episodes of Rebels have shown him in a major sort of engagement. Which is kind of disappointing, because that's what Thrawn is. Thrawn's a general. He's not a detective. He's not Detective Thrawn. He's an admiral. He's Grand Admiral Thrawn. And that's what I'd like to see him doing. There was a character called Keemond, who was a stormtrooper in the 501st, and I was expecting him to have sort of a major story arc, but he didn't. He just sort of went around having conflicts with Rook, and he never really... I expected him to sort of defect to the Rebels. That's what I honestly expected to happen to Keemond, because that's what happens so often in Star Wars books that are about the Empire, is that they'll focus on a new character and have that character defect to the Rebels. I'm glad that they didn't follow the same storyline that they do in most episodes, but I would have liked something to happen with Keemond, and it didn't. But I hate to be so negative in these, because I talk about books I like, but it's hard to talk about what you like specifically. It's much easier to talk about what you hate. And what I hated was that it was two stories. I wish it had just been one story. I wish it had been two books. I wish it had been two books instead of just one. Because it told one story with Thrawn and Anakin during the Clone Wars, and it told another story about Thrawn and Darth Vader working together. And even the Thrawn and Anakin story was self-split into two, where we followed Padme for half of it, and not Thrawn and Anakin. So, could have been 3 books. Which, I really missed that, where they had entire trilogies of 3 books rather than, one story taking place over 3 books. rather than 3 stories happening in one book. And I prefer large-scale conflicts to small, oh, we gotta find this guy who's doing something and take him out, which is a lot of what this was. So first, the Thrawn and Anakin happened during the Clone Wars, but the story was them sabotaging a factory. It wasn't a large-scale conflict, which is where Thrawn is supposed to thrive. And he didn't, and they sort of stumbled upon Order 66, but they didn't get it. That was interesting. It didn't really matter. I wonder, I can't remember, I don't think Thrawn pieced it together, Order 66, but maybe he did. So anyway, I'm trying to say something nice about the book, because I really did like it. I really couldn't stop reading it. Part of that was because my library loan was a short-term loan, a very short-term loan, so I had to sort of get it done quickly. But it did keep drawing me in. I wasn't like, man, I gotta read this quickly, and it's really bogged down at this point. I wish I could take a break, and I just can't. That wasn't how it was. But I did just, it was exciting. I kept wanting to read more. So I guess that's the best thing you can say about an action book, is that you didn't want to stop reading. So I recommend reading it, and I hope they make more books like this, but better. I like the large-scale conflicts, and I hope they make those with Thrawn, but I don't see how they can. That's the problem. They did talk about some conflicts within the Chiss ascendancy, so I would like to see him, or just other Chiss, having a big good old Star Wars fight. Alright, thank you. Bye.